Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, great to be back with you, my friend.
Good to be here, sir. How's it going?
Oh man, it's going. I was telling you how busy and fatigued I am, but when I come on here and we have a great time on the podcast, it's great. Does great things for the soul, right? Like it's always a good time to just hang out with my guy and just talk about games and movies and whatever we want to just talk about here.
Oh,
It always
you
makes
want to talk
fun.
about games?
Yeah, y'all getting more of them? Oh, yeah, I know. We got plenty of stories around that today. Today's gonna be very games heavy, and I love that. Like, because the stories we're talking about are
Yeah,
big deals.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Joel, we finally
Yeah,
had the opportunity to go back to see Otaku this weekend, and I had a good time, sir. It was pretty good.
yeah. We were there all day, man. We got there, around 10-ish and stayed till it closed. Essentially, aside from watching the end of the cosplay show, we left. So
Yeah,
it was great, dude.
yeah, man. It was good. Definitely grown from the
Yes.
last time that we went. So a lot more people. I think when we got in, it was as the busiest as it got the last time that we went.
And that was the start of the day.
That was the start of the day. So it was it was packed. It was pretty full. And that, considering that they now have not only the main hall at the Wyndham, they had four other rooms and an open area for friendlies and bring your own controller and the arcade section. It was really big. It was a lot of people and it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. So it was a good time for sure. Some of those matches were hype. The hype was high, right?
Yeah.
A lot of hype behind Street Fighter Six. I talked about it in the video that we did in the live that we did when we were there. So half the floor was Street Fighter and a lot of hype. I didn't expect to see Street Fighter at this event, right? I thought it was gonna be smaller because it's more of an anime oriented kind of thing, but it was big. It was big. A lot of people there. Mortal Kombat, they had it on a separate room. It was still a bit smaller, but Mortal Kombat won. But I did watch the Sunday stream on that one, and it seemed like there was quite a few people there
You
for
said we
Mortal
made the
Kombat
cut
2.
on one of the streams.
Yeah, so we're in the one of the Dragon Ball streams. We're there, and they're on the finals. We're there too. So I was like,
Very nice.
I wanted to look for. It's like, yo, I look for the stream on purpose, right? And I was like, we gotta be there because we were like right there next to the stage. So and yeah, it's like you can find us in the stream. It's pretty good. But yeah, man, good time. Good people there. The event was very smooth. Everyone again, and this is the event with at least the case with at least gaming events that I've been to, right? Everyone is, very respectful and well behaved, and it was overall a great time, and I'm looking forward to going again next year, more than
Sa-
likely. So
Same, man. Hey, next year, guys, we talked to the event reps while we were out there. I made it an opportunity just to connect and see maybe next year we'll have some media passes and cover it with the even further coverage and bring out photographer or whatever. Who knows? We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, we'll
But
see.
no, it's great to see how much it's grown. The layout of the show floor of this overall floors and rooms were, I think, well composed for the space that they have. But any bigger, this thing's gonna have to quickly move somewhere else, and I
Yeah,
think it's inevitable, which is a great problem that they have. So excited to have been a part of seeing it grow over. It was 4 years ago we went the time before,
that's
and
crazy,
it's
right?
just great.
Yeah, yeah. That vendors, the vendors are great. Really good selection of retro games.
Yeah.
A lot of plushies, a lot of different figures and toys and whatnot. It was, man, overall, A plus if you're in the Orlando area and you are remotely interested in anime and fighting games. Highly
Yeah.
recommend that you guys attend. And it's a good time. It's a good location too. So you're right there on iDrive. So there's plenty of parking and plenty of places to eat. It's good. So definitely looking forward to going again Hopefully we can, man. See, I don't want to go to Daytona. I don't like Daytona. I don't like straight up. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been here for 20 years. I've been here for 20 years. I've been to Daytona once. I actively dislike the place. It's the shellfish of cities for me, right? So,
All right, Anakin
uh,
Skywalker.
so, um,
Anakin
you know, I don't like sand. It's basically yeah. Uh, and I really do wish that they could find a proper venue in Orlando and that the event can come back because I really wish that I could go to the the big main event, right? But I'll take this one. Like this is still an this is still a W, right? I'm not saying that I would rather be over there, right? Because this is good. Like it's equally, you know, I and because the event is a it's smaller in scale. It's more of a community driven event versus a more esports type of event that the other one is. Maybe I do like this one better than the big event. So yeah, Seotaku, very good job. We were thoroughly impressed, Joel and I, with with your streaming setups. Gotta say,
Yeah.
you guys put a lot of work. We know what goes behind it. We've had experience in not only this, right. This is amateur hour compared to some of the stuff that we work with.
Oh yeah. We
So,
know. We know what
but
it's like to put on a show.
this is yeah. Like you guys are really good. You guys do a really solid job. So yeah, kudos to you guys. Kudos to the hotel IT guys because they're probably going nuts
Yes.
too with
Yes.
all the bandwidth that they need. So, but no, again, nothing but positive things to say about it. It was really good. So good stuff. John, I don't know if you have anything. I do have one quick thing.
You
The
go ahead.
Castlevania Nocturne came out on Netflix, and I love the first show that they did. I think it's excellent. And there was a this thing dropped I think yesterday, and then I started seeing the reviews, and everyone is like, "Oh, this is like the best video game thing that they've ever done ever," right? And I catched the first episode this morning before heading out to work, and yo, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's really good. Really good. Uh, it's I mean, if you like the first show, this is gonna be you're gonna be right in it, and the art design and the animation on the show, you can tell that they got more money and they put it to good use because the character design is impeccable. It's really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching more of this show. It's so good. So yeah, I was able to catch the first episode. Highly recommend watching the first show because it was so good too. It's excellent. It's not a long watch. You know it's kind of like the first season's only 3 episodes, but then I think the other ones are 9 episodes. And there's 3 more seasons. It's not a long watch, and it's a very good show. So yeah, I mean this like so far I'm very impressed and I'm looking forward to it. Also, I contrary to things that I've heard, there is going to be another Masters of the Universe next year. I don't know if you saw that clip
I
that they
didn't
put
see
out there.
that.
Okay, yeah,
No.
it looks the same kind of style, and it looks like it's probably focusing a little bit more on action. But again, we'll see. I know that Revelations was very divisive. I really enjoyed it. Um, like I've said before, and I'm on record, and I still stand by it. Masters of the Universe was never good until the first remake show came out, and then Revelations. So it's and as someone who was there when it happened, I'm allowed to say it. I was there when it happened, and I can say it. Masters of the Universe is never good. So looking forward to that next year whenever it happens. And they dropped a trailer for the Adi Shankar Devil May Cry show. It's a quick teaser. It looks good. Netflix animation coming out, coming out swinging. So, keep an eye on this, guys. So yeah, man. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we're I'm gonna jump right into the news bits. Yeah, I mean, I had a great time with you as CEO, and I'm sure this upcoming weekend we'll have some more fun stories to share for sure.
cool. Ahsoka, episode 7. Still good. Still good. It's still good, right? I haven't been disappointed yet, right? And again, I kudos to the show for making me like shellfish. Those guys are adorable,
They're
right?
Ninja Turtles,
They're
bro.
like, yeah, they're like ninja ninja hermit crabs. I was like, you know, I think those guys are super cute, but um, yeah, I think overall very good. I think it's kind of like I don't think Balin's gonna die in this show, dude. Like anything could happen next week, but I think unfortunately because of Ray Stevenson's passing, Balin is gonna get recast for whatever the next thing is that this is connecting to. It seems like he's gonna find whatever he's looking for, and it's gonna set up something bigger, right? But I don't think he's gonna die. That said, what happened with Shinhati was kind of interesting, right? It's like you go off and do your thing. Spoiler, guys, spoiler alert. You guys know the drill. If you're here, you know. Um, it's very interesting that basically he cut her loose, and it's like, all right, it's your training's basically done. This is my last piece of advice. You go and basically bring justice to whatever this new thing that they're trying to do is. So, um, and then Ahsoka extending, the olive branch at the end of the episode, and you can see, like, you can tell for the last couple episodes that she was conflicted, right? But now there's like even more conflict in her, and she's off doing, I don't know what, right? We'll find out in the next episode. Not really sure what. Oh, I think the stream went down. I'm still recording though. Oh, we're back. We're back online. Um, we just lost a few seconds there. I don't know. It's like OBS. Come on, fix your thing. Also Spectrum. Yeah, last time we said Spectrum, we got fixed, right? So,
Say their
Spectrum, you're putting
names.
ads on our videos. Go ahead and fix your internet. Fix your internet. Come on. So, um, yeah, overall very good. No big revelations here. Um, I kind of like the bit with um when Ezra's getting the info dump and Sabine is like, oh, so yeah, so the Empire was defeated, yeah, Battle of Endor is like, oh, and the Emperor's dead. It's like, oh, so some people are saying that, right? So, they're still like they're not doing away with it directly, but indirectly they are because this is way better. So, yeah, and we got Thrawn being Thrawn, and then good to see Anakin back in a holo recording. So overall, very good. Not much to say. This is a very straightforward episode, right? It is setting up stuff, but um, I don't. Nothing completely meaningful happened. Like there was a
Mm.
few bits in there, but nothing like mind blowing happened. That's probably what I want to say. But it was good nonetheless. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I had time to digest this episode before I just jumped in talking about it because I was very conflicted with this episode. I'm not gonna lie. Like first half of it, I was super hyped. I was like, "Oh my gosh," because the action sequences are really good. There's like narrative things that they're doing in it that really were getting me hyped. and then something happens, and I'll talk about it just in a second here. And then it's like it wasn't even that it was horrible, but it took me out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're like everything that's good, but then you're like you start thinking too much, and you start going like, why?
Mm.
And you start thinking about the things that have angered you about Star Wars, and it takes you out of it. And I'll talk about this in a second, right?
Okay.
Recent Star Wars is what I should say. So anyways, so like talk about the good stuff right off the bat, like action, like I mentioned, fantastic, right? Like you have this, you're finally seeing a full-on strategic Thrawn and how he's calculating everything in the moment, right? And like he knows that Ahsoka's gonna show up, and then you see like the different detonators that were preset, and he's got a legion of ships, battleships coming, flying around to try and take her out, and he leverages the night mothers and help him discover where she's located, and it's very much a chess type board. The way he handles
Yeah.
everything, he's getting information.
Yeah.
Morgan comes up and she's like, he was trained by Anakin Skywalker, and like you see the look on his face was like
Mm-hmm.
he was what? Like instantly he gets concerned about that. Obviously you mentioned already the Anakin moment, right? Love seeing Hayden back again in live action. Like there's just stuff like that that's just super hype, bro. Like really, really good stuff. Like you mentioned the
3PO.
3PO.
Yeah.
I loved that, dude. Like I loved that it was the fact that it was Leia that saved the day, but doing it in a creative way of having 3PO. I know some people are like, oh, they should just recast and have had her showed up. Didn't bother me. It's fine. She was sending out 3PO to send out a transcript. Totally fine, totally good. That dude is totally that one senator is totally a dirty guy. He's
Mm.
got he's got blood on his hands. He's a mole. There's no way.
He's probably
There
with
ain't no way.
that council that Gideon was talking to,
He
or is
has to
connected
be,
to some
bro.
one of those guys probably. So yeah.
He has to. But yeah, I mean, just the overall of that stuff, really appreciated. To talk about what took me out of it, it was a single moment where you're in this amazing action sequence, and you're waiting for Sabine to hand the lightsaber over to Ezra and him to get
Mm.
into his famous position and let's go. And the way that they handled that moment of you keep it, you've been training
It
with
was
this.
very
I'm
Disney.
gonna use the force.
Yeah.
And like not even 15 seconds later, pew 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 pew, he's shooting him with a blaster because the force is not strong enough all of a sudden.
It was very Disney. Yeah.
Bro, I like my blood pressure probably started to raise like because it touched a nerve, bro. It touched my Star Wars
Wow. Really.
because I've seen this before with The Last Jedi. And that was the
Mm.
weakest point of The Last Jedi, right? The handling of Luke Skywalker. Gives him the lightsaber, chuck it, keep going, right? This felt, and it's all theory. I don't know this to be a fact. I'm not, I'm not in Star Disney's offices to know what the choices were, but it instantly felt like a Kathleen Kennedy thing because it felt to me like this is something where she would be like, well, you have to make sure that it doesn't look like all of a sudden he comes in and saves all the women in this moment that he just comes in super
Oh.
powerful and
Okay.
it's like the knight in shining armor and we got to make sure it's a little so we gotta calm the time. That's what it felt like. I felt like to me like he
I didn't
could be
see it.
cool
See,
and
I didn't see it like that. Um, I thought that he was good, and then when the night troopers came in, and he was like, "Oh, whoa, whoa," I was like, "Oh, well, let's talk." And why are what this prisoners? Yeah, that was very Ezra. That was very well done, right? That was all good,
absolutely.
right? But I didn't catch it, and then you bring it up, right? Okay.
It, and I've seen various different conversations around this already now because I knew I was the moment I saw I was like, bro, this is not gonna blow over good because of the way it was hit. Like I can't
Interesting.
be the only one that's feeling this. And it's been very divisive for people. And right people are like, oh no, like Kanan said to Ezra way back when he was training him, a laser sword doesn't make you a Jedi. I'm like, no, I completely agree with that. Like he doesn't need to have that. I would like to see more moments where Jedi's don't just pull out a lightsaber and they're just using the force and battling. Like I thought that idea is
Yeah.
cool. But the moment that it was like, oh no, you take it, I don't need
Oh,
it.
I didn't
I've been
catch it.
training. You use this thing, and then he's running around with a pistol, shooting, and then he gets
He grabbed
forced, and then
one of the troopers like rifles. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he gets force pushed by Shin and gets knocked down to the ground. And I'm like, nah, man, nah, this ain't right because this almost feels like one of those like we gotta make sure he doesn't seem too powerful that, and it's like no, he doesn't have to be. Him having a lightsaber or him fighting like alongside Sabine doesn't make him more powerful. Doesn't make him. It just makes him Ezra. It makes him a Jedi who he is, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't see anything. And if Sabine, I'm not one of those people who's angry about Sabine's trainings and stuff. I think it's fine. Like it's whatever. I think there's more to that story actually that Dave is planting around like, well, why doesn't she have the Force? I think there's gonna be a little some misdirection there that people will get. But even the fact that's like, Ahsoka's able to instantly communicate with her, and it just feels like they're pushing something there that's a little bit obvious to me from a writing standpoint. But I don't want to rant on it too much.
Okay.
That was one thing that took me out of it because everything else of the episode is great. Like Ahsoka and Balin have their rematch moment,
Yeah.
and obviously, like you mentioned, that the olive branch being extended to Shin. I think that's great. I think that she will be redeemed. I think it's a matter of time. Will she live after redemption? Well, I think she's gonna have the Darth Vader effect.
Hmm.
Let's save the day and die doing it too. But no, man, not a bad episode by any means. We've watched bad shows.
Oh no, 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 totally, totally. Like this. Watch bad shows.
We watch that shows. We know.
Yeah, it was good. See, and I didn't catch it like you did. And in hindsight, it looking back at it, I think you're right on the money on that one.
Now I hope I'm wrong. I hope next episode, out of nowhere, like they're like, you know what? Forget, I'm gonna go. But it's still gonna stick out to me that they did what they did because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, that's weird though. Um, dude, like I don't know. Have you seen any of the like the Abeloth like theories that are out there that's what Balin's looking for?
I have and I don't believe it.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be something new, man. I think Filoni, like he did the World Between Worlds and the Bendu and all this stuff. I think Filoni's got another new area of the Force that he's gonna teach us, and I think we should be excited. Like, Star Wars needs something new right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I need something fresh. But what is it, man? Because
I know.
it's like she he just let Shin go, and then he just basically like peace out. And then Ahsoka showed up, and they fought for a little bit, and then uh, she stole his dog, and then and then he's like, oh, all right, I guess I'm gonna walk over where I need to be. And then Thrawn noticed it and like, oh, you're missing a you're missing a
Yeah,
mercenary, right? So what's up with this guy? So now he's like he doesn't trust him, like, but what is it, right? It's like I mean, it would be interesting, right? It's like because the theory initially was that he was after Abeloth and then or trying to resurrect her or whatever, and then he would use Shin as like a vessel for her,
I didn't think
but
so.
now it flipped. I was like, whoa, he let her go. So what's up with this now, right? So that theory is out of the window, kinda, right? But I still don't know, man, and I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, what is it? It's like I can't like, and it's I mean, I hope it's something new, like you said, and they will get surprised, and then this becomes a bigger thing. Maybe it is, you know, maybe it is the like a proto Snoke or something. Who knows? It could be. So, but yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Looking forward to the last episode, and hopefully I don't mess it up. I'm hoping it ends good. That
Did,
way I can be
did you
happy,
see?
right? Hmm.
Did you see that Loki? They moved that to Thursdays at 9 p.m.
Oh, they moved it. Okay.
The same time as our show.
Oh, they. Oh, yeah.
It's the same time as our show, same
Dang
day
it.
as our show.
Dang it, Disney. So
Yep,
you're gonna have to watch Loki after the show, and then we'll talk about it the following week.
pretty much.
Man, we're gonna be talking about last week's episode while the new episode's going on.
Yes. It's so crazy, man.
Man,
I
see,
wish that I say this now, Disney, if you're watching, for the love of no load time,
see,
move it to Wednesdays at
like
9.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Well, the thing is that our schedule's about to get there's a wrench that's about to go into our
Very true.
schedule.
We know.
So we
Yeah.
can we're going to the time of year that our show could be either Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday, or we can
Yes.
skip a week, right? It's
Or
gonna it's
simply.
gonna it's gonna get like that. So, um, but that's interesting that they're on Thursdays. Come
Right?
on, like I wouldn't mind, right? If YouTube would be fair on their on their bots, I wouldn't mind like doing a live watch.
Oh, that would be
That'd
great.
be
I
that'd
would
be
love that.
that'd be awesome, right?
If they weren't crazy about it, we could.
Yeah. I know Twitch probably don't care, right? We're gonna just flip it on Twitch and we'll be fine. Probably Facebook too, but YouTube's too aggressive, and
And that's where we need to
that's where
keep
we
them
need to be
happy.
on good standing. Yeah,
Yeah, we need to
exactly.
keep them happy, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking about keeping people happy, Joe,
Mm.
update us on the writer's strike and the actor's strike.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So incredibly, just this week, we finally have a tentative agreement after 148 days of a strike for the Writers Guild of America and studios. This is obviously historic because, this deal that's going into place is essentially ending a work stoppage for the writers, and them having their deal first versus the actors is monumental. You're having it if the actors have gotten the deal first. I can tell you right now, the writers would have probably, still been negotiating for a longer time because when you still have actors on sets, like we saw with Deadpool and these other movies, even when the writers were on strike, they'll still push forward with what they've got and until they have to have a deal in place.
Yeah.
So this is great for the writers that they got theirs first, and then the actors will most likely follow in suit. There's already rumors that this coming week they're going to be having multiple sit downs. We knew something was coming up when they actually sat in a room for like more than one day at a time, when it was literally
Yeah.
5 days at a time that they actually sat together and talked through. That was signs that clearly they were moving forward. Allegedly, according to different reports, the studio heads basically told the writers last weekend, we don't get a deal in place here before Sunday, we're gonna move on to the Actors Guild, and just start working with them and move our direct attention to them. We can't be just staying here talking about the same stuff. Allegedly, that was what was being said.
Interesting.
Some of it had to do with also Yom Kippur was going on as well as going on. So a lot of Hollywood, right? That's something that's being observed. So that kind of also helps them say we got to get this done before then, before we stop off anyways and can't be working. So yeah, like this is huge, it's historic. The tentative deal won't be done till most likely next week, is what I heard, where it's officially signed off altogether. But the guild has given their blessing to the writers to tell them go back to work. You can work on the stuff while we get this officially signed as unions, which is great, especially if the actors can get theirs done pretty quickly behind, which allegedly they will. There's a lot of movies that were in production that are finally going to get back on it, and maybe even other movies that were removed from slates because the actors couldn't go out and promote, that maybe will also get brought back on. There's a lot of good things around this. It's faster than I thought, man, but great to see it.
Yeah, finally some movement. I know that as soon as these things got done, like the negotiations got done, a lot of stuff restarted production again. I know
Yeah.
Stranger Things was probably the first show to go back after it was announced. So yeah, man, this is good finally. Like because it was there was a lot of uncertainty on what was going to happen next year, especially next year, right? Because a lot of the stuff was going to get probably delayed and maybe indefinitely, right? Maybe now we'll get a proper date for Spider Verse 3. You know, yeah, I mean finally, and
There's a lot of other guilds though that are starting to were on strike. Like the VFX workers, Moral VFX went on strike.
yeah,
Like there's a lot
get
of
a
different ones.
game
Game,
the game voice acting. There's yeah there's a lot to be done, right? And rightfully so. I think
sure.
the threat of AI, the fact that you can ask an AI to rewrite episode 9 in a and give you a better movie than what Chris Terrio wrote.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right? And that's where a lot of this is stemming from. Basically job security. They want to make sure that they can continue writing these movies without uh, having to get intercepted by an AI. And it's a legitimate concern. So I'm glad
it,
that a lot of this is getting addressed. So
I don't know if you saw that one of the other big key things that came out of it is studios can't hide their numbers anymore from writers. So after, a show is completed, a lot of times there was, unless they put out a press release or something exposing the numbers of how successful something was, we would just base it on assumptions. Hey, everyone's talking about this, so therefore it must be a success, or this, or everyone sounds like everyone
mm,
hates this thing, must be doing terrible,
like
and that's
probably
a
like
part
probably
of
Velma is probably a great example of that,
right.
where
So the
everyone hated it, but then WB saying, "Oh no, this thing's doing great."
Right.
So
So they have to now give a report. They're gonna have a division in each of these studios now that just simply on the reporting side is distributing it to the guild if they can have it in their database, which is great. Like that again, because like Zack Snyder's Justice League, like that was a big one, right?
yeah,
They never said how many streams that got,
nope,
and you know that they got a lot of streams,
yeah,
and a lot of people were saying, "Hey, watch it again, watch it again." I've watched it a few times to give it the hits, and never publicly said, but there, but any of these other ones, like, hey, look, people watching Black Adam on HBO. So now that will hopefully change as time goes on. It's not going to necessarily be that they're releasing it to the public, but if the Writers Guild has it, they're going to use that now part of their discussions when they are on a personal negotiation for a
yeah,
project. Like, hey, I did this thing, did well. Residuals was another big one, but I think that's more for the actors than it is the writers. So we'll see how that gets worked out. Because a lot of them kept talking about the AI stuff, which I think was big, but there was clearly also some revenue sharing that was a huge
yeah.
concern as well.
And then when it comes to residuals, right? It's another very interesting topic because
Yeah.
when you have just to give you the two probably the two biggest examples of that is Friends and Seinfeld, right?
Yep.
Where they still like making a ton of money because they're on different networks plus streaming services. 99% of the shows that are on streaming services are never going to be shown on TV. They're
Right.
never going to be reruns. They're never going to be on syndication, right? These are shows that specifically live in that ecosystem, and getting residuals off of that I mean, that's a tough sell, right? If you're an
Yeah.
actor, that's a tough sell.
Yeah.
So it's
I agree. I agree.
there's a lot of a, I think that a lot of actors and a lot of writers jumped in like head first into streaming because it was gonna be the next best thing, but they didn't they did
Mm-hmm.
they didn't think through what the repercussions of that was gonna be, and
Absolutely.
this is now we saw that it was like basically like half a year on like on strike basically.
Seriously, bro.
So
I'm
yeah,
so excited for Comic-Con next year. This all gets sorted out. We can actually have the studios do a
panels. Yeah,
presentation. Oh my goodness, dude. It was a fan fest this last year, which is great. Like that's what the heart of the convention is, right? Like celebrating the
yeah.
the 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 art, the books. But whew, Next year's gonna be good.
Good. And finally, man. All right. Hold on. Because, last week we had pay to pay to win Phil. And, all right, Joe. You said last week that you did not see Phil Spencer lasting too much longer as the head of Xbox. And out of nowhere, yesterday I parked my car here, right? And I turn off my car and I look at my phone and I see this alert like 2 minutes ago, and it's the alert from Bloomberg saying that Jim Ryan, Sony's Interactive Entertainment CEO, is quote unquote retiring. I say quote unquote. Well, I'll be a little bit more specific. But I texted you right away.
Yeah,
As
you
I
texted me
saw,
right away.
I was like,
I didn't see it until you texted me. Yeah,
yeah, I texted you right away, and you were like, "Yo, what?"
I was
So
shook, bro.
yeah, so Jim Ryan is retiring. So I say quote unquote because Jim's been there since day one. Like he was there when like Sony Interactive Entertainment of America, or Interactive Entertainment Europe, because he was Europe first, and then he moved into to corporate. Um, he's been there since the beginning, right? And he was the PR guy, and he's always been out there. So he's been with Sony 30 years, or PlayStation more specifically, right? 30 years, and he's retiring, right? That's great. Like I see it like that. But Joe, and here's my huge but, because he's retiring, but he's retiring next March, but his duties end the end of this month. Um, so basically, he's this is what's gonna happen to Kathleen Kennedy at the end of October.
Whoa.
It's like her duties are gonna end end of fiscal year, end of October at Disney. But she's going to retire August of next year when her contract is up.
I don't want it to be a whole nother year though. Oh
No,
my
but
gosh.
duties are done. Like
But you're probably right though.
duties are gonna be done. So,
You're
Jim
probably
was
right.
forced into retirement, in my opinion.
Oh, hot take. Here we go.
Okay. He not only failed to stop the Xbox acquisition fire sale that was going on, he did not make any significant moves to secure properties for Sony. And I think the nail in the coffin was a few weeks ago when Phil Spencer showed up with the Square Enix guys saying, "Yeah, we're gonna bring more stuff to Xbox." I think that was it, dude. I think that was it.
Mm,
And you know, the failure of not being able to stop, the Activision stuff and even the Bethesda stuff. Like I would have fought for that, right? Again, like I mentioned last week, I don't care, but as a you know business minded individual, that's what you would try to do. So uh, he he was unable to protect his territory. They're still they're still doing better than Xbox, right?
for real.
But you gotta do stuff, bro. You just can't
Yeah.
sit back there and say we have Spider-Man, we have all this stuff, we have these things coming out. You gotta move, right? Because then, I think he was too complacent to where he was just like, yeah, we're on top. We don't really need to go and do this stuff, right? And I think that didn't sit well with the CFO, who is going to be taking over So, um, so the CFO Hiroki Totoki, and he is not only the he is the CEO, COO, and CFO for Sony corporate. Like this guy is he's the number two guy in Sony,
Yeah.
and he's taking over. He's basically taking over PlayStation. So, um, from what I've read, he's been in with Sony since like '87, so it's been a long time. But he's a very numbers driven, very assertive, very business minded individual. So, um, I think the acquisitions are coming
Wow.
because he's the CFO. Like when you give control of your company, where you of your division to the CFO, it's because Sony is getting ready to open the wallet and start doing stuff. Um, you know, I kind of feel bad for Jim Ryan. I don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I've when I know that there was a collective from everyone, right? But it's I don't think he's a bad guy, and I've been critical of him, and I when he took over, you can go back and listen
Mm-hmm.
to that show, and I was like, I don't think he's the right choice, and from day one, I thought that, and I Jim, he is not a business. He was not a business guy. He is a PR guy, right? He was great showing off the new stuff, but I don't think he was particularly good making business decisions for PlayStation. Um, I think the that price hike on PS Plus, I,
Yeah.
I don't know where this came from, right? I don't know if it was Totoki or if it was Ryan, right? But that was a bad move that soured. Like I think that soured. Like if the Square Enix, uh, like stuff with Xbox was the nail in the coffin for from the corporate perspective. I think the price hike, the PS Plus price hikes, and having it be so quick was the nail in the coffin with the fans. So a lot of stuff going on. I think he was forced into retirement. He is saying that Tokyo's going to be there as an interim CEO, right, until they figure it out. But I think he's gonna be buying stuff and then handing it to someone else. If Sony is smart, I would. Okay,
Oh,
hear me out.
let loose,
If
bro.
Sony's smart, I would go back and freaking wrangle Andrew House back in.
Oh my gosh, that's a
I
big move.
would just like, yo,
Would
bro.
he come back?
I For the right amount of money, he probably would.
Sounds like a Bob Iger situation.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
House
mean,
was incredible.
he was the best. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't know. I don't know. I heard a really good comment on Reddit today. I was like, let's just go ahead and bring back Phil Harrison and just have it end, have him ended.
That's funny, bro. Oh my gosh. That
bring back
Harrison.
bring back Phil Harrison and have him end it all. um, yeah, man. This is gonna be a really interesting 6 months for PlayStation, for Sony in general, right? Um, but yeah, dude, what do you think?
I'm just looking up like what is House doing right now?
Oh, Andrew House.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is
I mean,
he
he said he was gonna
is he
retire
retired? Is he literally just living, in a cottage somewhere?
in the cabin. It's like Tony Stark on the lake
Right?
house, and then they're gonna
Hey,
show up
he
and
gives
they're
me the little Tony Stark, I can
yeah.
see that.
they're gonna show up to his house. It's like, yo, we need to invent a time
We
machine.
need. Oh,
So
that's good. That's good.
yeah,
I, I I'm I this is another conflicted story because I like Jim. I don't know. There's something about the way Jim did it that like even just his public stance on like we're fine, we're good, let the competition have their fun. The part
let
of
him
it I actually
cook.
kind of like. A part that I kind of liked, right? Because like it was a confidence in not being
Was
super
laid back.
reactionary to
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Where like some companies would be like, we're on top of, we're just gonna go crazy and we're gonna change
Spencer,
this
like
and we're
Phil
gonna
Spencer. He's
like
very
Phil
reactionary.
Spencer.
Yeah,
He does it. He starts going. They start
yeah,
changing stuff, going crazy,
yep,
and then you're like you start ruining things because you don't realize what you already have was good. People would rather you stay pat
yep.
than mess it up. It's like a sport. It's like a sports team. You have a really good team, and then maybe your opponent, another team right down in another state gets all of a sudden gets a super team, and you go, well, they're
Oh,
much better than we are.
I gotta go
We
start
gotta blow
dismantling
up my
everything.
team
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like that's not the way to do it. That never ends good. Like that's what I kind of liked about like Jim. Like he wasn't that kind of guy.
hmm
And I respected that. His PR stance too was different. It was interesting, right? But I love all the points you brought up because even in the whole not being reactionary, it's very telling the way someone's response is in major moments as a business, like what they would do, further down the line if they were in another circumstance. And I'm just saying, like, he had the benefit of, well, thankfully PlayStation is as a company in a good position. They're not hurting. They're getting their sales. They're doing just fine. They had the privilege of not having to be super reactionary. What Microsoft did is they really said we're going to try and buy our way back into the game, and that's what we joked about, last week about all of that,
yeah,
right? But to some extent, I get it, right? How their execution hasn't been all that there, but the concepts I get. And imagine like in a situation where maybe PlayStation was just as a company not at doing as well. What kind of reaction would Ryan do? I don't think he was prepared for a returning fire in essence in the industry.
yeah.
And then like you brought out like the example of the PS Plus stuff, like that was a huge just bomb. Like
That
that
was a bad misstep, dude,
that
all
was a
around it.
bad misstep. And I just feel like the trend there was basically like, hey, if you keep up this pattern, we are gonna slowly start to nosedive. So let's make sure we change things up now. And I think that's the right timing to do it.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Jim a little bit, but because some people were acting like he was horrible. I don't think he was,
No, no, no.
but I do think that there's a point to your saying, like how his business choices, like they just couldn't risk it.
Yeah, yeah. He was too laid back, which was interesting, right? Because he has always been very aggressive talking to,
Right.
like when he was out there back in the PS3 days, right? Defending the price of the PS3, and look, and then the, who was like, oh, what, this thing's backwards compatible. It's like, what do you think? What do you want it to be backwards compatible? You want to play that ugly looking game? That, you know,
Yeah, he was
oh, he
aggressive.
was very aggressive when it came to marketing because that was his thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think, wise man said, your overconfidence is your weakness. so,
I wonder who
so,
said that.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I think that's
He was probably laid back
he
because
was too laid back.
he probably was ready to retire.
Yeah,
Like you say forced retirement, but I don't it's not probably as forced as like, hitting your resignation. Like I think it was like a mutual they probably had a talk.
yeah,
They probably had a talk like this is the best for all of us involved.
yep. Um,
He
man,
don't care. He's chill, man. He's laid back. He's gonna go,
could
close out his thing. He's
come
good.
out of nowhere, right? Hideo Kojima CEOs. No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh my goodness, dude.
He's independent. He's doing his thing. He's traveling
He's
the
not
world and hanging out with Mads Mikkelsen and and disguise and
He's a creative first. He's not as
yeah,
much, he's not a super businessman. Like he's done great with business, but yeah.
yeah. But like going back, right? Who do you think would be a good match for that role? Could Sony be eyeing? I don't know. Would Shuhei be a good person for that role? Like because he's like more of a developer relationship kind of guy.
Yeah. Could be interesting. I'm not opposed to the idea of it. I don't yeah,
Let's
Shuei. Yeah,
yeah,
you
let's
bring
look
your
up.
shit in.
Hold on. Let's see. PlayStation executives.
It's
Please.
gotta be within the company. So that's why you're throwing out these names is fair.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got Jim Ryan, but that's not there anymore. I don't think Mark Cerny would be good. Mark Cerny is more of a
No, no.
he is
I love
he's
Mark.
I
I love
love
him.
Mark Cerny to death, dude.
Absolutely.
He's just a math guy. Like he is like,
Imagine being in a meeting with that guy.
but and I mean
It
this
would be
I mean this in an endearing way. He's a huge nerd. So, and,
that's a real nerd.
that's a real nerd, dude. So, I think he probably stay in the more of the design kind of,
They'll keep him in the basement.
yeah, keep him in the basement, designing new hardware,
Sorry.
and architecture and all that. But yeah, like I'm looking at the executive team right now. I don't see anyone that could immediately um do that. I mean, unless they bring someone from the outside, honestly. And but then I just again you start running into what if it's Phil Harrison, right?
Right, right. Which like Microsoft right now, the Xbox, that's my advice to them. Go get somebody outside. Like go try and get like Kojima, go try and get you know what I'm saying? Like they need somebody to throw that thing up and change it and
Oh
do it
man,
different and bring some new life in. But no, man, they don't need that at PlayStation. Just need
it's
somebody a little more passionate.
yeah, yeah, and again I think they I think that once they figure out so I think that Totoki is gonna be he's gonna be the reaction guy. Like
Yeah.
he's probably will in the next few months. Don't get shocked if PlayStation comes in and buys two or three big Japanese developers. Like
Yeah.
you know, don't be surprised if like Sega and Square Enix and don't or Capcom
Wow.
don't get shocked, right?
Wow.
Don't get shocked. But Hideki Kamiya just left Platinum this week too. Like he's resigning. You know what? Crazier thing. You got the creator of Bayonetta as your dude, and Kamiya's crazy. He'll block you on Twitter or whatever, right? Everyone's blocked, but um, but he's a character that I think fans could get behind, right? And he ran his studio. He ran it well. I think that Kamiya is leaving because um, Platinum's not. It became something else. It became. I don't think that this was the plan that they had for Platinum initially, right? Um, I think the last true Platinum game that was released was probably near Automata.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, no, Bayonetta 3. For Switch that came out what last year? Yeah, yeah, that was
Did.
yeah. So Bayo 3 was probably the last, and I mean, who knows, right? But looking around right now, is PlayStation ready for new blood? Then are they gonna pull a Nintendo with Reggie, right, and bring someone from a non-video game company and run
Oh
it?
yeah.
You know, are they gonna bring Bob Chapek in? And,
Stop.
and
Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. Don't you do that. You thought that those price hikes on PS Plus were bad.
Oh
Oh
no!
boy.
He's gonna
Wait till you
start.
find out that the PS6 is now gonna be a $900 console because it's a superpowered machine and you'll pay for it because he'll make you pay for it.
it's it's $15 to charge your controller
Yes.
at a certain hour in the day.
PS Plus is mandatory to even turn your console on. Like some kind of dude, don't put that out there with some Bob JPEG. You
No,
know, my goodness, bro.
I don't think Bob's a good fit. Dude? Bob ran consumer products like a well-oiled machine, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's all about the money.
I don't know,
He
dude. I
needs
don't
someone.
know. I
He
don't
needs
know.
someone above him to tell him that's
Oh,
nice.
true, true,
You're
true.
here. That's a
Yeah,
good boy. But
yeah.
let's
It's
let's
like
keep
James
this
Gunn.
not
He's like,
looking too.
yeah.
He's like James Gunn.
It's like James Gunn.
You you got
Oh,
something. Let's not get too
bro.
wild now.
But like, if you look outside, right? It's like who you could potentially bring someone from another company, right? But
James Cameron, the Avatar machine.
yeah, at this point they should go for someone
Yeah.
younger that can give them at least good 15 years. No,
So
honestly speaking, dude.
so they can hire me.
Yeah, no, we're available. Yeah, we'll run the place. We're good. You know, we'll make it happen. We'll start with putting PS
So
Plus the way it was before.
somehow PlayStation and no load time just merges completely, and people accusing us of the Sony money.
Yeah, it's like, I know that these
That's
guys were chills all along, and
they sold themselves out.
yeah,
We're
so
having
stuff.
fun, guys. We're having fun. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That could be Don Matrick. It's like, no, man. I think PlayStation's it's ready for new blood. I mean,
Yeah.
if you ask me, right, there's got to be someone. I don't know. I think Herman Hulst is a good candidate. Because he's a games guy, right? But he's not a business person necessarily. So
Yeah.
um, it's kind of like the thing with Phil Spencer, right? Where Phil's the games guy, but then he was giving a ton of money. And it's like every time when your parents give you a ton of money, right, and you're the gamer guy, what do? Buy a bunch of games, and that's
Right.
exactly what he did, right?
Right.
So I think you need to be a little bit wiser on how you approach your reaction to what Xbox is doing,
Yes.
but you know it's gonna be really interesting, man. It's gonna be really interesting, and we'll find out soon. I mean, sooner or later, we'll find out who the real successor would be. But it's gonna be an interesting 6 months because things are gonna happen.
Absolutely.
I put a shrimp again that within the next 6 months, Sony's gonna make a huge move.
You're putting another. Oh
I'm
my
putting
God! Now
another
you said
shrimp,
it
dude.
now. A shrimp on the line. I mean,
I'm
you
gonna.
couldn't have
Oh,
done the
he's writing.
pineapple
He's
with the
taking
pizza
notes.
again.
Yep.
I'm putting it out there,
Yep.
man.
I'll do it again. I will eat one of those cute Star Wars guys that
Ooh.
from planet whatever, because
In the next 6 months.
the next 6 months we're gonna get like PlayStation's gonna buy this thing. It's like
That's
it's
what,
gonna
until
they're
like
gonna
March
start
of
buying
next
stuff
year.
until March of next
March.
year. Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep. So
Okay.
oh, we'll see. So moving right along, and I guess keeping it with the topic. Sounds like the FTC is um, reopening the Xbox case. It seems like they have some times that to work on it. Apparently the closing for the acquisition is October 18th, and they're coming out and actually putting out more effort on questioning whether or not Microsoft could, or should go through with the acquisition. So this is
Maybe
interesting.
those leaked documents didn't help. I don't know.
I don't possibly. Here's another prediction because this article came out today, right? What if Totogi's already using his corporate leverage and lobbying against it? Like maybe this is what they wanted all along. It's like
Yeah.
you allowed this to go through. Why didn't you lobby against it, right? And a lot of these things happen like that. So it's gonna be real. It's just, I mean, the FTC is saying that they're using taxpayer resources, but
Wow.
there must be there's no coincidence here, in my opinion. Like with you
Mm.
get Jim Ryan out yesterday, and then this morning this thing gets reopened. You know,
Interesting.
so yeah, I mean, not much to say. It's a wait and see on this one, but it looks like it's you know uh, they are going to attempt and hold it. So we'll see. I don't know if you have anything else to share on that or
Well, it's a huge deal because if they can delay the acquisition even further, it doesn't guarantee that it doesn't happen, but it does start to put some doubt because why would you go from you have the blessing to let's reel this right back. Like that's not a common circumstance when it comes to acquisitions. Usually you go through your reviews and your audits and whatever, and then it still ends up happening. We've seen this with multiple large corporations. Like it's just not a normal circumstance to see them reopen anything. So this is one to keep our eyes on very closely because we just talked about the whole Sony acquisitions versus, what Microsoft tried to do. What plays out here is going to send reverberating effects across the industry as a whole.
yeah.
I would say that there's most likely the deal's going to still go through. I think it's still going to happen, but in the off chance it doesn't, Obed, oh, strap yourselves in because there's going to be a lot of news that's going to come out of why and
Yeah.
what and the monopoly rules, and it starts to become a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it was bound to catch him sooner rather than later, honestly,
Yeah,
because it was too much, too quick,
too
and too
much
big,
power.
too much and too big, right? It was it was insane. Like they went crazy, right? So, um, I heard someone somewhere say that, um, and I don't know if this is true, right? But there was a rumor that someone in the government was looking into Microsoft, and the plan was to split it into Azure Office or Azure Microsoft products and
Mhm.
Xbox into three separate entities.
Oh
So
wow,
that that would be big, right? If that is something like that happens, right? Because at any point anyone can swoop in and buy Xbox.
correct.
Like like AT&T, right? When
Right,
AT&T got split, other companies bought their like the AT&T Mobile or whatever. AT&T bought them back, right? Like, eventually, but
right.
that's basically kind of like what happened. So we'll see, man. This is it's gonna be an interesting next month for Microsoft, but like I said,
Yeah.
6 months for Sony, dude. I put the shrimp on the line that they're going to make at least one major major move. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm scared for you, man. I hope we'll see what happens. It's bold, but I love the confidence.
Yep. Last bit of news, and this is just a kind of like a follow up to some of the predictions that I've done or we've done with the upcoming successor to the Switch. It's that the next 3D Mario game will be releasing next year, more than likely alongside the new product, and it will be uh, an open world Mario game. So kind of like we've already talked about it. We predicted it based on
100%.
Yeah, based on Bowser's Fury, you can totally tell that that's a tech demo for what they want to do next. And it looks like they're going full on, Bowser's Fury open world for Mario, and this would be huge. Like this would be the first time that something like this, would happen. I think Bowser's Fury, it's small, it's a short game, right? But it's fun. And if they can take, the concept and make those areas that you get in Bowser's Fury, make them, I don't know, 4 or 5 times larger, make them like actual worlds. I can definitely see this being a great game. So, um, I guess stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for whenever this thing comes out, because totally not this year. But yeah, that's basically kind of it on this bit news.
I'm so excited. I'm so 2024 is gonna be a huge year. Um, Save up your money.
Yeah,
You know, I'm I'm really happy with the Switch I have right now, so I'm curious to see how the full announcement
how
rolls
much
out for
better?
for the new one.
Yeah,
I know that it's gonna be something that I'm gonna want to upgrade to, but will I do it right away? That's tough,
mm,
but man, like, a new Mario game like this, and I'm assuming that it's gonna be exclusive to this and not be cross-gen between the original and then the Switch
yeah,
2. Like, this that's the kind of stuff that gets people excited. So
yeah,
good news already right off the rip, and they've not even formally announced the new console. So this is already building anticipation.
yeah. There's a lot of hype. A lot of. I think the fan base is very enthusiastic, to say the least, for
Yes.
a
Yes.
new Switch. So, um, like we saw it with the PS4, right? Because it was so long from the PS3 until the PS4 came out.
Yes.
But and the enthusiasm was there, and the messaging was there, and the price was there. Everything lined up perfectly for PS4 to be a huge hit. But I wasn't expecting PS5 to be as I guess sought after.
Yeah.
But it was a huge hit too, like a huge follow up. And I never talked to anyone saying, "Oh man, I'm so hyped for the PS5 to come out, and it's gonna be crazy," right?
Yeah.
But then you talk to like Nintendo guys, it's like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for this thing to come out," and they're like very very hyped for it. So
It's good.
this it's a good sign. I may have to pull the trigger and go for it.
At
I
launch?
haven't had lunch. I haven't done that in a very very
Wow.
long time, so I'm already putting money aside. I already talked about it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do, yeah. So it's I'm gonna have to make it happen. So not just for me, right? I know that if I tell someone that's in this household that there will be an open world Mario game, yeah, that's I can't do anything else. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. So,
But benevolent man.
but yeah, that is what we got, sir. If you want to go ahead and stitch it up, let's go home.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for sticking with us for today's episode. We want to invite you to stay connected with us. So subscribe to No Load Time on podcast platforms of your choice, places like Spotify, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. Find us, subscribe to us. And also, if you would write a review on those podcast platforms, that would really help us out with spreading the word of the show. Additionally, if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed, share it with your friends, family. Would really appreciate that. You could hit like on the video. You could write us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We welcome it. Additionally, you could follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. If you're watching the video version, you'll see the handles down below. But you can follow us on those different platforms to keep in the know as we are out at different conventions and events. You probably saw some of the stuff we posted for CEO. It was a great time. We also would invite you to follow us on Twitch. That's No Load Time all together on Twitch. And last but not least, if you have a question, comment, or feedback, we would love to hear from you. You can send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. We'll wait for your email, Sony. And everyone, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.